Which wrestlers come to mind upon establishing the fundamentals that built Ring of Honor today? Nope, it isn't Nigel McGuinness. Definitely not CM Punk. I can confidently say many of you would think of Bryan Danielson. Why wouldn't he be the face? He's clearly known for carrying the company since his first day on Ring of Honor. However, he didn't build a house alone. While Danielson was analytical and very detail-oriented in his matches, his contribution was followed by Low Ki, a talented young man known for having a chip on his shoulder, showcasing an explosive style for someone his size. Furthermore, to not be overshadowed to the almost 10-year veteran in the game, Christopher Daniels. But as Alexander the Great once said, remember upon the conduct of each depends the fate of all. That main event match alone in the era of Honor Begins established the image that soon came to be that honor is real. Throughout the match, Steve Corino and Eric Gargulo laid out prophecies regarding the three men's future and legacy in the pro wrestling landscape. Remember when the Yes movement was a thing? Yeah, back then, it was a final countdown by Europe being sung in every arena each time you stepped in and out of the ring. Bryan is known to be a student of the game and with the technical skills can demonstrate he is an adaptable competitor. He is known to be a pure wrestler, and that is what he showcased in the main event match of Ring of Honor. Around the time, he went by the name American Dragon, from his inspiration influenced by martial arts and Japanese pro wrestling. A point that was brought up during the match to highlight Danielson's credibility is that he has a bit of martial arts background, and on top of that, is a graduate of the HBK Shawn Michaels Wrestling School. In that match, Steve Corino highlighted that if American Dragon is incredibly talented at his young age, imagine how good he will be in 10 years from now. As for Low Ki, this man has pioneered a style so synonymous to the junior heavyweights in America during the early 2000s. His style always consisted of explosive high flying and stiff kicks, in which that alone earned him a ticket to his dream of competing in Japan. He has a reputation of a tough pro wrestler, not only physically for his size, but also mentally, as there has been rumors from those closest to him that he is a tough nut to crack. Anyway, I digress. During the match, Eric Gargulo would often establish to the viewers some brief facts about pro wrestlers. In this case, he went in depth with Low Ki, such as having a mixed style of high-flying, grappling, and some martial arts. Adding onto his resume that he was once a high flyer early in his career, to then eventually developing technical wrestling, which is adaptive to freeing himself in any obstacle or tight situation. At one point, the commentators both stated that Bryan Danielson and Low Ki had an ongoing feud in the Indies to prove who is the best between them two for their young age. Steve Corino highlighted that Low Ki is a focused, intense, and passionate individual who only looks for competition. Now we move on to the man of the hour. No, Leo Rush, not you, but Christopher Daniels. This guy has been around the block for a cool minute. In fact, he has been active in the ring since 1993, which means he saw the rise of the Attitude Era as well as the Monday Night Wars. He wrestled for all three promotions such as WWE, WCW, and ECW. Once WCW and ECW reached the endgame, Marvel, Daniels struck out for himself and made an impact on the independent wrestling world, including for New Japan Pro Wrestling. He won the King of the Indies tournament, which resulted in him making a name for himself in the Indies all over the globe as the Fallen Angel. Due to his experience, he eventually became the backbone to building the big houses such as TNA, now known as Impact Wrestling, and Ring of Honor. In the main event of Ring of Honor's first show, Christopher Daniels was a veteran as well as an all-rounder competitor of the two young men. He walked into the match feeling confident in handling two upcoming wrestlers trying to make a name for themselves. Knowing that they are still new to the business, Daniels would use that to his advantage, which depicted him as a heel and the biggest heel for that competitive match. One of the heel antics he would attempt was messing with Loki's focus through mind games. At the end of the day, Loki proved that his focus is as sharp as his veteran experience by pinning Daniels after executing the Key Crusher. During that match, a spot that stood out which indicated each gentleman's role in the match, where Bryan Danielson was a technical wrestler looking into dismantling his opponents. Low-key, with his stiff strikes and martial arts style, and Christopher Daniels, who was the all-rounder as well as a veteran in the match. As the match was going on, Bryan Danielson had Christopher Daniels in a Muda lock position. Due to Danielson unable to completely execute it, Loki kept kicking Danielson to the ground while he still had Christopher Daniels' legs tied up, which affected him as a result. With the Code of Honor, the Fallen Angel himself elevated the conduct through his heel antics of refusing to shake the hand of his opponents post the match. For those who aren't familiar with the Code of Honor, it is a set of rules or laws aimed to distinguish Ring of Honor's presentation among other wrestling promotions. Originally, the set of rules were followed as: you must shake hands before and after every match. Second, no outside interference. Third, no sneak attacks. Fourth, no harming officials. And fifth, any actions resulting in disqualification violates the Code of Honor. This initial Code of Honor, most importantly the first three rules, helped the heels receive heat from the audience quicker than in other promotions. After the match, this helped Christopher Daniels establish himself as the first major heel of the promotion due to the refusal of shaking anyone's hand. What makes this match special and significant is because Christopher Daniels was involved in it, making him the backbone and the most experienced wrestler in the independents. I can assure you that the majority of the indie darlings have all at one point faced Christopher Daniels, which resulted in most of his influence getting passed on to the other leagues. Bryan Danielson brought technical wrestling to add the legitimacy of pure wrestling feel and Ring of Honor through his smooth catch wrestling transitions. This means a large emphasis on holds, submissions, takedowns, and joint manipulations. We can see his influences through young stars like Daniel Garcia from the Jericho Appreciation Society. As for Loki, he is one of those American pro wrestlers who sought outside America to find a different type of appreciation and respect for pro wrestling in Japan. His style influenced many American junior heavyweights that even New Japan's Best of the Super Juniors has expanded their tournament blocks to showcase talent from all over the world. In addition, his style adds a sports-oriented presentation, which is an approach that has been lacking in the US for a long time. In a way, it's good that we have pro wrestlers wanting to treat it like a sport due to the trauma their bodies endure. After seeing how hungry those competitors were of wanting to grow and conquer the wrestling world by storm, the conduct of these three men determined the fate of what Ring of Honor became to be. Thank you guys. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you next time.